Lisa here with another chapter of Your Salon Retail. And this chapter is called Let's Lock This Shit Down. It's called Chapter 10. It's actually Chapter 10. And it's a really important episode. It's probably one of the bigger ones, to be honest. And yeah, there's a lot in it. I think what we have to stop doing is just talking about it. Talk about it. Oh, I talked about it. I told her. Yeah. And what did she say? Oh, she didn't say anything. I think, well, then you don't know if it went in or not. So the reason I wrote this chapter, Let's Lock This Shit In, is because talking is exhausting, absolutely exhausting. It doesn't clarify much, to be honest. It's very needed because we've got to get to why we're making changes, and you have to get people's feedback, and you can't go in and just say, listen, do it like this. Doesn't work. Tried that one, actually. Doesn't work. So I think you've got to understand that there's a reason why people struggle with recommending retail, and mostly it's around failure and money and being pushy or being judged. And so unless you address those things, which we've talked about a lot up until now, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. No hairdresser or beauty therapist woke up in the morning and thought, I know what I'll do. I won't recommend anybody any product. Or did they think, I'm not solving anyone's problems. I'm just going to do the bare minimum. Actually, that might not be true. I think I might have bet a couple of those. But nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to let another person down. What they're struggling with is that they can't get their head around it. They can't understand what it is you want them to do, or why it is you want them to do it, or that it will be uncomfortable. So unless you have a structure that says this is what we do, and you can't slap the structure on people, you have to build the structure together. So in this chapter, I talk about how to make these changes, really simple things like connecting with your product company rep. He's really, or she's really important to your progress. And then have an agreement in place. This is how we're going to do things. You know, we're going to meet once a month, and in that meeting, we're going to do this. And be fully stocked. Nothing worse than I'll do a private one-to-one meeting with somebody's team member, and then they go, well, we've never got any of it. And I think, oh, okay, that's interesting. The salon owner never told me that part. So you got to come at it from every side. You really do. But, put the price on every product. It won't hurt you. And if not, put it in front of the row of them on the shelf. Make it easy. It's all these little tiny 1%ers that'll make a difference. Learn the products, download and learn the products, and then test each other on them. You've got these 3 to learn this week, and you've got these 3, and then you've got to mark each other out of 10. Ask questions. It's go small. We're going to lock it down by creating systems. I can remember a times table, because we had to show up every morning at school and say your times table, and 7 8s are 56, because I got that one wrong. Don't ask me what 7 8s are 56. Don't ask me what 8 8s are or 9 8s are, but I know 7 8s are 56 because I had to repeat it and write it, I don't know how many times or something. But you will remember things if you really need to remember them and if it makes sense to you. So yes, spend time. Yes, talk. Yes, listen. But you've got to have a structure. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going around and around. And I think the structure isn't that complicated, right? I think people get so caught up on a structure, and then when they write a process or a structure or a procedure or a system, they're all the same thing. Do this, and it's huge. And I think, no, ask a question. What do you use at home? That would be my place to start. What do you use when you cleanse your skin? Boom, find out. Because it's going to tell you something. It's going to tell you whether the lady actually does cleanse her skin, because I'm shocked to find out that a lot of people wash their face with the body wash in the shower or soap. I'm thinking, really? Do you do that? And other people use products that have been prescribed by someone and then they don't use them, or they use one cleanser, not 2. Same with the shampoo. There's a lot of information out there, and I believe your job is to find out where that person is on the journey of solving the problem. So first find out what the problem is, and then find out what they're doing. if you'd like to know more about that, I call it the moisture triangle. It's about just asking these 3 questions. But it could be, if you can change those 3 questions, it could be around how often do you come back? Like, how often do you have this? Are you happy with the service? How often do you have this service? Are you happy with what you've got? Like, it's really simple, right? Is it easy? No, it's not, because their brain gets carried away with, I'll be pushy, I'll be salesy, and people will judge me, and they've already spent this much money, so I don't think they can spend another $50. It's not your money. It's not your money, Ralph. It is not your money. Just tell people what you know, share your knowledge freely. And if people would like to take the product, that's good. If they don't, they can take a sample. And if they want to take a photo of it and buy it on the internet, it's none of your business. Your business is doing your job every time. And once you make that decision that you're going to do it every time, your head quietens down, and you don't have to have this, I don't think she'll be interested. Will she be interested? I know she bought something last time. A bit scared. Don't want to be put, blah, blah, blah. Your head's full. And I don't think that there's enough room for you to just service someone. So if your head's not full of ongoing chatter, and you just go every client every time. Every client, I'm going to ask her a question. Is she happy with her eyebrows? Is she happy with her haircut? Is she happy with her curls? Is she happy with her? Just the one question. That's all. Before we get started, I want to ask you a question, and ask it. That's it. Might be, where'd you get your earrings from? I don't know, but get into the habit of asking a question, and that's a system. So I just want you to understand that people are confused. They've got no idea, and that's why they go into places that sell all of the products, because I think, oh, these people might know. And what you do find is these people are trained better than we are, and that's really disappointing, because I think we have a lot more depth of knowledge, but for some reason we're hanging on to it, and a system is what's going to change it. So get on to reading the chapter, and don't just read it or listen to it. Do something. Do something. Make a plan. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Chapter 10. Let's lock this shit down. Have you read enough to know retail is where you need to focus next? Are you convinced that retail is so much more than the dollar amount? It's all about the client engagement. Then let's do this. Let's lock this shit down. Now, before you strut back to your salon full of excitement, guns blazing, and come off all preacher-like, let's get you a plan. The worst thing you can do is blow your team's hair back with well-meaning but ad hoc enthusiasm and demands like, it's now, it's urgent, you must, things must be done differently from today, right? First things first, sit down with your team, one at a time. Maybe buy them a coffee and explain that you're going to make some changes in the way the salon services clients. Ask them for their help. Ask them, can they support you? Notice I didn't say, tell them you must join me. Instead, I want you to ask them for their help. There's a massive difference. The sun and the wind story. I saw this on a kids program about 20 years ago when my kids were kids. It was just a lesson I needed to learn at the time. My twin boys were about 2 years of age, and I had to work out how to get them to do things my way and to get them to do it fast. They were both and still are headstrong. Maybe where they got that from. Perhaps their father. Maybe not. The story talked about the sun and the wind having a friendly competition, a bit like a dare. They were hanging about up there in the sky, bored as you might imagine, when the sun said to the wind, I bet you can't get the coat off that chap walking down the street. I bet you can't. You're on, said the wind, and insisted that he went first. The wind blew and blew as hard as he could, and the man held onto the trees, the park bench, to stop himself from falling over from the terrific sudden wind. But the wind couldn't get his coat off, no matter how hard he blew. Eventually, he gave up. Then it was the sun's turn. Watch this, he said. The sun began to shine and shine until the temperature got hotter and hotter. So much so that the man on the street willingly took off his coat. End of story. The lesson? Things don't often work as well with force. Most things work better if you engage people by shining on them. Likewise, you must be patient with your team and think outside the square to get the results you seek. I'm thinking that story must have been based in Melbourne. Where else would that type of weather pattern be normal? In Melbourne, we change the weather several times a day. Sometimes it's up to 4 times a day, just to please everybody. Or maybe it's the sun and the wind mucking around up there at our expense. Either way, it's a story I share all the time with my coaching clients. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for GSD, getting shit done, but I've learnt the hard way you have much more success if you have a plan. I'd like you to get permission from everyone on your team. Ask them to commit to being on the same page as a group. Then you can workshop how your salon's retail system is going to look, function and perform. I know this is your best chance to succeed. When it comes to retail sales, the salons that set up simple systems and stick to them are the ones with rock star results. You need to get the basics right. Any plan sits over the top of some serious groundwork. As salon owner, it's up to you to lay solid foundation to help prevent your plan crumbling away. Try these basics for starters. 1. Connect with your rep. Make certain you have all bases covered by ringing your product company representative. Tell them you're about to make some big changes and you'd like their support to educate the team further. Let them in on what you're planning to do. You'll be surprised how supportive a great product rep can be. 2. An agreement in place. Get everyone on your team's permission in writing. Make it serious so everyone feels committed. Put together a sentence or two to capture the spirit of the change and have everyone sign off on it. I agree that this day forward I'm going to learn what I need to learn about the products we stock, and I'm going to share that knowledge with my clients so they have the best opportunity to manage their hair or skin, whatever it is, between visits. Keeping trade secrets is a thing of the past. I will follow the system we come up with together, even when I am under the pump, until it becomes the norm, second nature even. 3. Be fully stocked. Make sure you are fully stocked. When you and your team members go to recommend something, you need to have it in stock. There's nothing worse than not having the stock that you recommend. If you want the team's respect, stock all the products and make it your business to never be out of stock. Oh, that is so important. 4, price every product. I suggest you price sticker every single product. Source or print off some stickers with your logo and the price to make a clear connection between your brand and the product. 5. Download and learn your products. Log on to www.zing, Z-I-N-G, retail, R-E-T-A-I-L, resources, resources.com.au for my Learn 3 Products document. Get the product knowledge you need. You'll never be confident unless you know your products inside and out. Start immediately. All of you, everyone on your team, your product representative will be happy to help train you up. More about this in Chapter 18 and 19. 6. Test knowledge and train in the weak spots. You need to test your team on their product knowledge. Confidence comes from knowledge. Your team won't sell a product they don't know everything about. Educate them, test them, and educate and test them again. People buy honesty and people buy confidence. Make a system.
Make it a system that works for you, not some generic template you picked up from some obscure place. Engage your team in the process of shaping your system. If you do it together, you'll have your team's buy-in and a superior system. At Zing, we take each salon's specific needs into account when we're setting up a system for them. There are certain common elements, the must-haves, but the rest is shaped by the personality, the objectives of the salon owner, the size and the nature of the team, the clientele type, and a raft of other factors. Retail is my favourite subject. I coach every day, often all day, and I know what works and what doesn't. My dog Muriel can recommend retail. Well, she could if she worked in a salon. She has listened in on so many lessons, just like my last dog could have had a haircut. She sat in on so many haircut training nights. You need to appreciate that the skill of selling retail is not learnt overnight. It takes practice and repetition. My top tip here is to encourage the effort rather than the results, always. One in, all in. You need everyone on your team to agree to support one another. No one is going to laugh at someone's attempt or average result, and no one is going to get big-headed about their success either. You need to address the amount of talking each team member does that's not related to doing their job. Sometimes I feel like screaming at the top of my lungs, "Please shut up and do your job, people." Telling someone about your holiday and your boyfriend is not doing your job. Get a bit excited, sorry people. The squeeze. Of course you can't go screaming at people. You might have a problem with your team retention if you do. That's why I developed another little trick I call the squeeze. If someone on your team is waffling on and generally making a short story long, simply walk past them and squeeze their arm. Not hard. Just enough for them to get the message. No one other than the team member will know you've even done it. It's a simple reminder to shut them up and get them to get back on with their job. It's called a pattern interrupt. What your system needs to schedule. Start with problem solving. There are many questions that will open this dialogue between you and your client. Make time to gather a few conversation starters, one from each team member. What's their opening question? Mine was always, "What do you want your hair to do if I had a magic wand? More this, more that, what would you like?" Beauty teams might have similar ideas depending on the services they offer. 2. Always start with moisture rather than style. That's for hair, folks. Beauty, it's a little bit different, but there are so many services, more than I can add in here. The principles are the same. They are mostly around the behaviour of the skin or the behaviour of the hair rather than the task at hand. 3. Putting products, the unopened ones, in front of your clients. All day, every day. So what we would do is you just be showing and telling, showing and telling. So number 4 is showing and telling. So there's see more on that on chapter 2. Number 5, everybody leaves with either a product or a sample. Number 6, asking before you get to the end of the service, did you want to take X and Y with you today or just X? It's never okay to say, "Are you right for products?" while standing at the desk settling the account. Oh my gosh, that is way too late. The horse is bolted. Your client's mind is already in the car with the kids and where they need to be next. Walk a mile in each client's shoes. Then always lead with suggestion. Imagine not having the tools you need. Imagine if you didn't have the hairdryers, the brushes, and all your favourite products. Imagine trying to put your makeup on without those professional brushes. Imagine using your fingertip or those stupid little applicators that come with the makeup. They're impossible to use. Imagine the difficult position you put your client in when you don't recommend the right tools for them to look after their hair or skin at home. They don't have a third of the talent that you do. So they rely even more on using the right tools and products for the job. If you don't check, they mostly have shitty tools and substandard products. How's that working for them? Exactly, it's not. Understand that when you don't check on what they're using and what they're working with, you're being mean and you're being selfish. It's not really looking after your clients, now is it? Don't tell me you just want to care for your clients. That is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard. If you care, you'll make it your business to share. It's that simple, guys. Showcase your knowledge. Earlier, I was telling you about this fabulous product company representative who started to look after me in my first salon. We often had a coffee and a catch-up on our industry business. You can feel isolated as a salon owner at times, especially a country one. He was great at putting me in the picture of what was going on in the big smoke, which I liked very much. One day, he told me about salons in the city doing styling nights and how it was creating a great energy in their salons. These styling nights were a good way to build up your junior stylist. I always felt strongly about educating clients between visits, so I thought, maybe it's a great idea and it'd be worth a shot. Creating a casual and private environment appealed to me. By then, I was no longer working the full 5 days a week and was thinking about cutting back to 2. My aim was to completely get off the floor. I had a fabulous third-year apprentice who was keen to get her hands on as many clients as she could. I said to her, "What if you and I do a styling night together and we'll see how it goes?" She was keen as mustard. So we invited 6 of our clients. We only had 6 chairs back then. We sold them a ticket each for $20 and made that redeemable on product purchases on the night. When they arrived, we shampooed their hair for them. Then we set them up with the tools they needed to style their own hair using a dryer or the GHD irons. Either way, we just guided them. It was so funny to see. Most of them had to stand up to style their hair. They couldn't even sit and style. We showed them what we do and then we let them do it for themselves. So we were giving them tips all the way along. So 6 busy people in the room and Stace and I were just jumping from one to another. We sold sectioning clips to everyone. I hadn't thought about people trying to manage without them before. Really bad when you think about it. We were busy with lots of laughs and lots of product sales being made, along with hair dryers, styling irons and brushes. Most nights we took between $400 and $600. It was easy and it was super fun. Not bad for 90 minutes, hey, with your favourite clients. It was the talk of the town. Everybody was saying how cool we were. I loved showing our clients what I knew, and it built enormous confidence in my third-year apprentice. She learned that she already knew a lot more than her clients did, and it was just a matter of her being in a comfortable environment. She realised that watching and helping was the reason we joined this mad profession in the first place. It was a win-win for everyone. Kick-ass Kickstarter. Start with 1. Arrange a coffee catch-up with 1 team member and tell them your plans. Explain what's in it for them and for you. Ask for their support and listen to their ideas and really listen. Tick and repeat.